Good to go.
I'm Jane, Audicity Jane, and just want to welcome everybody to the Discord and to those of you who will be listening to this in the recorded session. I hope we do cover everything that you're wondering about Audicity. Those of you who are listening live, please feel free to send us questions. And certainly when we get to the right point in this session, we will, by all means, pass to you. So feel free to ask questions in writing, or just let us know if you want to raise your hand and ask a question. So we're very excited at Audicity. We're getting to short finals now, just about to stop our pre-sale at the end of August and go live. And I know there's an awful lot of questions and curiosities about what Audicity is, what the plans are, where we're up to, and what has inspired particularly Simon and Raoul, who have been absolutely instrumental in putting together what I think is an absolute first-class platform. So I'm just going to pass over, I think, first to you, Simon, if you just want to introduce yourself properly and give us a little bit of insight into what inspired you to start Audicity.
Letdowns and disappointment, hopes and dreams, I think, is the best way to describe it. And everyone knows, well, most people know that I've been knocking around the scene for quite a while, from back in the XRP days, and to me, I got caught in the same passive income stream as everybody else with Strong, and I missed Ring, thank God, but, I got into Strong, and got into Thought, got into Power, got into Samurai, got into all of the passive streams, thinking that, okay, the teams are trying to do something, everything's going well. And then got into Fire, again, thinking teams are doing something, it's all going to go well. I'm particularly protective of the XRP community, as I have been ever since I sort of entered into the crypto phase. And I feel that they were particularly targeted on two fronts all at the same time. They got targeted governmentally by the SEC, and they got targeted by projects that were sort of quite close with them. I don't know if you want to mute your mic while you're not talking, Raoul. I can just see your light flicking on and off constantly.
I think if I mute myself, we won't have any recording, because the recording actually gets my voice. Yeah.
Got you. So yeah, these are the reasons for, and just feel that people were let down and let down and let down and let down. And have a bit of a philosophy that if you have the ability to do something, and if you have the ability to make a change, and you can witness these things going on and you don't do anything, then I think you're as responsible as the people that are doing the harm within the community. Me and Raoul spoke about a project sort of a year ago. We were going to do a DeFi thing, but we couldn't think of anything that people weren't doing at the time. And everybody was trying sort of like the same DeFi as a service and how it was going to work. And it just was never going to work as that sort of concept. So we came together and we sort of like thought, okay, how can we make it different? How can we make a difference? How can we launch it ethically? How can we... And that's how sort of Audicity started to build as a platform, as an idea, as a concept.
It's been very interesting for me, because I, of course, have been privy to the conversations between the two of you, Simon and Raoul, for months and months and months, that have led to the creation that Audicity. And I know, Raoul, you had your own inspirations for wanting to get involved. So do you want to share those?
Yeah, sure. I think Simon also adds to my opinion, because I've been also a participant in many of those projects that he said. Not in all of them. I've also been participant in some that he hasn't been. But yeah, as a general point of view, I would agree on his perspective. I will add as well that for me, it has always been something that I wanted to build for the community, build for someone, make something that it would be useful for not only a few individuals, but as a whole. And for me, from a developer point of view, I'm enjoying every single minute creating the platform so far, and I'm pretty sure I will enjoy every single minute building all the protocols that we want to build and thinking about what can we improve and bring to the table for the community. So yeah, in general, it's really exciting, and I love to be here.
Well, I must say, just from a non-techie point of view, I'm absolutely so excited about Audicity. And I think my motivation, while it's not as intrinsically linked to knowing how much a platform like this can do, I think my motivation for being involved is the fact that I've been involved in the traditional financial community for a long time, and I've dealt emotionally, being a psychologist, of course, with so many trials and tribulations that people go to, but so linked to money. Unfortunately, it is the thing that makes our world go round. I read somebody posted something on Twitter the other day that said something like, "Isn't the phrase cost of living a really bleak phrase when you break it down? The fact that living is such an expensive thing to do." And I think my engagement in the crypto community, which has just really been observation, has been literally watching people go through a bipolar journey of extreme highs and extreme lows. And I've watched people make millions and other people crash and burn. And what I think I love about Audacity is the fact that it is so focused on being all inclusive, of keeping every single person in the community in mind, and not favoring people that have got millions to spend, but are kind of looking after everybody equally, whether you're a tiny little participant just venturing into a crypto journey or whether you're a seasoned pro. It doesn't make any difference. I think what I love about Audacity is the inclusivity of it. So for me, it's a really exciting project to be involved in. But what's really fascinating me is listening to the two of you talk about all the elements of the structure and the creation of what's been going on behind the scenes. So I know, Raul, you're the one who's literally bashing on keyboards day in and day out in building all the sort of front end and getting all the buttons to work when you press them. So do you want to give us a bit of an idea about how the platform is structured and what it is that you're actually building?
Yeah, I would love to. So basically, we're looking at building a website for the Audacity. A corporate website will be basically a point where anyone can access and read about all the products that Audacity has as a company. Then aside of that, we'll have what we are building, which is the Node platform as well, which will be the DApp. It will be the typical app that you will probably relate something like Twitter or Uniswap or any other entity like that, where you connect your wallet and everything you do in the app is Web3 related. You will still be able to access the site as let's say as a visitor without any Web3 integration. You will still be able to see information about the nodes and about how many nodes are there, and in general aspects of the network. But of course, when it comes to individual nodes and whatever anyone has, then you will need to basically log in with your wallet, with your address. Then basically these tools are built with the standard as I know in the industry, in the Web3 industry, which is pretty much JavaScript web pages, specifically Next.js, and they're basically integrating tools to interact with Web3 with the smart contracts that are being developed and finally tested as we speak. So yeah, I think that those two platforms will be the starting point. We're looking at integrating a blog inside as well as the corporate website and building all the protocols that we are going to build, we said in the roadmap. So yeah, really exciting about that. And definitely it's really important to structure all these wisely, because we know that These will be proper platforms that will have real use, and they must be, as I said, structured wisely, because they will get users and people will need to know how to interact with them. So I'm trying to make them as user friendly as possible, because as we have said many times, not only we want to onboard the users that are already on Web3 on crypto, but also we're looking forward to onboard people that are not in Web3 and crypto. If they find Audicity, if they find the nodes, they will we hope that they will have a clear path on how to do stuff, how to get into the ecosystem. And yeah, I think that's the bottom line on what we want to achieve as well as a community.
I know that you are very focused on making sure that it's an extremely good user interface experience, and I know that that will obviously grow and improve as the platform grows and improves and we move forward. But you talked about a clear way forward, and I'm going to move across to you now, Simon, because I know you have a very strong ethical and moral grounding around not letting people down and having a clear way forward. And I know you've spoken so often about the whole bait and switch sort of mentality that seems to have occurred in so many different node platforms, and how absolutely hell-bent you are on making sure that Audicity always delivers. So can you take us through how people will know that Audicity is going to come through with what they promise? And I know that starts with the end of the pre-sale, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we can split it down. So obviously we will aim to deliver, but the whole idea behind this project was that us as a team actually create incredible products for our community, but we don't have a great deal to do with it. So we want to automate as many processes as possible, because these are the things that have let users down. So if I can run through how we intend for our ecosystem to work and how we intend for it to be different than everybody else's ecosystems, and why we're doing it this way. So this will be like a bit of a 5-10 minute speech now, because the big question was, how are we going to be different to everybody else, which I think fits into this sort of narrative. You said yourself earlier on that you've witnessed me and Raoul talking for months and months and months. And this is the first key point. So we haven't just had like a brainwashed idea. So we've really, really gone to town on thought process, which comes from our basic tokenomics to everything that we build, how it's going to work, how it's going to reward our users, how everyone's going to just know that it's working. And that's an important thing for us. We're not saying we're going to be perfect, because we're not. So nobody's ever going to be perfect. But we're going to build everything with our users in focus and our users receiving the benefits of those things. So DeFi as a concept doesn't work. This whole, we're going to make investments for you, we're going to return, it doesn't work. In the node space, it doesn't work. And nodes are actually a great governance model and a great way to distribute, for a protocol to distribute rewards for people supporting. And if you're going to be part of that, then you want to be rewarded. So if you're a Bitcoin miner, you're not going to mine Bitcoin at, $18,000 per Bitcoin if you can't sell it for more than $18,000. You've got those expenses and you expect it. And the nodes, in essence, work like the miners for the protocol's currency. They also work like the miners for protocol's governance, if we can put it into that respect. And that's another thing that's been missing from DeFi. Everyone started with these great intentions of having DAOs. If you don't know what a DAO is, it's a decentralized autonomous organization. Thank you, Raoul. It's just mind block for a second and say decentralized. So that's what a DAO is. And the whole idea is that the users have the governance over the model, but it doesn't work in a concept, because somebody's always got the keys to those contracts. Somebody's always got, and this is where teams have really let their users down, because they've said they're going to do one thing and they haven't. So as you said earlier with the whole bait and switch tokenomics, they've come in with high rewards, then they've realize that they can't sustain the emissions and they've got rid, and it just terrible, ill thought out plans. And generally speaking, I think an awful lot of them have just been designed to make the teams as much money as possible and then leave their users holding the bag, which tends to be what happens in crypto as an overall thing. And I'm sick of watching users left holding the bag. So the first thing that we discussed, me and Raul went to town on, was the tokenomics of the model, because tokenomics are key. Because if we grow and we grow and we grow, we're going to get to a point where the emissions are too high for the protocol to sustain. So then we looked to the whole halving, which is explained in the tokenomics video, but I'll go through it quickly now. The protocol has a security mechanism in itself. When it reaches a certain point in its emission cycle, that it's going to reduce its emissions. And that's really important, because if we get runaway growth, then the protocol is going to say, whoa, okay, hold on, there's too much, we're just going to have a bit of a reset, which is what's designed in the Bitcoin model. So the Bitcoin goes through this self-sustaining halvening every 4 years. You can pretty much determine where it is, to the blocks, that the block it's going to actually happen on. And when it gets to that point, the rewards halve. So, the miners, and all of that's really important. But the thing with our protocol is it's very transparent. So from the start, people know that when we get to 200,000 nodes, the protocol is going to go through its first halving. Now, we estimate on the tokenomics model that's going to take between 18 and 20 months. Because at the start, obviously, you're only launching with, the possibility to create, let's say 50 to 100 nodes a day or whatever from the token point of view. So these emissions are really small at the beginning, and then they sort of grow with this exponential yield. As we get to like the 100,000 mark, you've got the possibility of 10,000 tokens a day, which is 1,000 nodes coming onto the market, and all of it. So that timescale greatly increases as the user count increases. But I can effectively say now that I know that once we get to 100,000 nodes, that our tokenomics will always stay in the range of between 10 and 20,000 tokens a day. And that's going to grow out, and it's going to grow out, and it's going to grow out. So that time span between gets longer and longer and longer. And that's really important from a tokenomics point of view. So now we've got a way that the protocol looks after its own tokens. Now we've got to find a way of returning these tokens to the rewards pool. Now, traditionally in the node space, the only way you can do that is by relying on buyers to buy your nodes. Sorry, to buy your tokens to create more nodes. Now, this does have a very big Ponzi feel to it. And Raul harped on at me for months about the whole Ponzinomics. And he's been passionate about not having a Ponzinomic structure. And more so than me. I wanted the tokenomics from the halvening to see how that would react in the wild. And Raul said, no, we need to do more. So we came up with a model that does more. And we focus on our users. At the end of the day, we can offer whatever we offer back to our users, but their main interest will be the token price. That's what all users in node space care about, really. They don't really care about anything else. They care about the actual token price. Now, we can't guarantee a token price in the market, but we can build tools to take the tokens off the market. And this is what the DeFi space promised when they were making investments, and they never delivered. So, because the idea was that they were going to make investments, they were going to take the profits from those investments, and they were going to buy their token off the market, return it to the rewards pool, or burn it, or do whatever they were going to do, and everything would be great. The token price would remain stable because they've got other forms of revenue. Now, it never happened. They didn't do it. For whatever reason, they never did it. And a lot of the reason was that they were relying on the investments that they made in the DeFi space to actually return a profit. So they're taking the actual control out of their own hands and they're putting it in the hands of other teams. Now, to me, that's an unacceptable thing, because I want to be responsible for the products that we build. I don't want to be responsible for the protocol, but I want to be responsible for delivering what we say we're going to deliver. And I want to be responsible for that, rewarding our users. So, as in returning the token back to the rewards pool, because that is the end goal here. So we thought long and hard about it, and we came up with our ecosystem, which I'm now going to explain to you. So all of our products will return the token to the rewards pool automatically. So when we talk about that, we talk about the actual code and the software. So this isn't in our hands. This will be coded into the smart contracts. So it will automatically happen. So you're not going to rely on us following through. You're just going to rely on us actually building them and putting them into the wild, which I will move heaven and earth to do. So when we said we're going to do an NFT platform, we are, because the NFT platforms that are on the market have a very crypto feel to them. They don't have a corporate look. They don't have that corporate interface. They don't have that you can pay by anything, you can use anything, you can... And this is where the inspiration from the whole Ripple and XRP community comes in, because they don't care about how users pay for things, how users use your platforms. They just want people to use their, they just want people to use it. And that's all we want now. We just want people to use Audicity's products. So we're going to create incredible user experiences. We're going to create incredible... And we're going to put the money from the protocol into developing for the protocol. We're not going to plug it into massive multi-million-pound marketing campaigns. Obviously, we're going to do marketing and we're going to spend money on marketing and we're going to market our products because we want people to use them. But the primary focus is going to be on the user experience, how they look, how they feel, how they're designed, how they work. Is it easy? I mean, we've all been through the whole, it's an absolute nightmare to move a currency from one chain to another chain. Do we wish there was an easier and more simple tool for this? Do we wish there was a better bridge? Do we wish there was a better DEX? Do we wish there was a better NFT platform? Now, we've got some great ideas on how we're going to market and how we're going to build the NFT platform, which I'm actually not adverse to sharing. We want to incentivize use in ways that other people don't incentivize use. We want to build it in ways people don't build it. We want it to have a very real world user experience where you can go to it and you've got your top trending and you've got your different categories and you've got your different classes. So, we want it to work for you as opposed to having to clicking through horrible pages and horrible user experiences where you're just browsing thousands and thousands and thousands of JPEGs. And we also want to bring NFTs that are different, that actually have utility, that we will do ourselves. I know Jane's got some great ideas on courses that she wants to, issue NFTs for within the community that there won't be a charge for, but there'll be these course NFTs that people can actually get paid to learn, and people can actually... So we want to bring utility to NFTs in a way that people aren't doing, and we want to provide a user experience. But the fees from the NFT platform that are generated won't come to the team, won't go to the community. They will automatically just buy the token off the market and return it to the rewards pool. The fees from the DEX that we build will just buy the token off the market and return it to the rewards pool. The fees from the chain that we build will just buy the token off the market and return it to the rewards pool. The fees from every product that we build, every decentralized product that we build, the wallet, everything that we do, will automatically buy the token off the market. It won't buy it in real time because there's no point in running those sort of transaction fees, but it'll be coded to execute a buy every hour or every 2 hours or whatever. But all of these protocols will automatically do it, which will return value back to the users, because all of a sudden, instead of just buying a node to return the rewards back to the rewards pool, now we have every protocol that we build, and then all we need to do is drive users to the protocols, which is where marketing comes in and user experience comes in, and the ability to integrate a Coinbase wallet, for example, that you can use your card to buy an NFT. So you don't even have to be in crypto. So you can, you sign up normal and you can just have an account if you want to be a Web2 user, and we'll take the fee, and we don't care. Honest to God, it just needs to be a user experience, and everything that we build returns the token to the rewards pool. Because that way, we're not responsible for it once it's in the wild, and once we're driving users for it. You don't have to rely on us to do a buyback. You don't have to rely on us to... This is code looking after code, which is what smart contracts were designed for. And they're just being underutilized in the DeFi space, mainly because teams want to retain that control, and mainly because they maybe haven't had the forethought of instead of doing it. Because when people say DeFi as a service, that is just what it is. It's development as a service. You're expecting them to develop something that's going to work for all of your users. and they're not doing that. So they're developing things that mainly benefit themselves. And yes, we've got a fee structure which should support all of the actions for building these protocols for the community. So if we can maintain that we build these protocols and we can actually find this nice balance between DeFi and CeFi, where it doesn't matter what people use to enter the space. I've also got mad harebrained ideas about video streaming platforms that, there's lots of stuff that's in my head that isn't on the first ecosystem roadmap that will come after the first phase. The first phase we're anticipating will be sort of like around about an 18-month to 2-year build to build all of them. I know we've got the NFT platform launch by January. I know we've got the DEX launch by, I think it's July or something next year, Raoul. Is that about right? End of July?
I honestly don't remember exactly the dates, but it's something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So these are sort of timelines that we can hit, and we've set realistic timelines. We're not going to fake promises and all the rest of it. So we've got like 5 months now on the finishing, well, 6 months if we're including the end of this month, on the finishing of an incredible NFT marketplace that will be different to anything else that you've seen, because it will have that very corporate polish feel. It will have that it won't be some sort of kiddie site, or I don't know how much experience you've got in the NFT space, but they're all horrific. The cleanest one out there, by all means, is OpenSea. They've got a corporate feel, but they've got a horrible user experience where you have to click into collections and click into this, and it's not a nice place to be, and you have to search for things individually. So we want to create something a very bit different to that, where it's not just polling like your top collections, and it's not just, we want that very visual, very clean looking site. If we drive users to it, obviously we're going to get the fees from all that. All those fees will return the tokens to the rewards pool. All the fees from everything we build will do that. So that's the ecosystem plan that we've got, which is very different to anything else that's on the market at the moment, because it's the code that's doing it, and all we are responsible for then is creating great products, which we should be responsible for. That's what you expect from a team when you have a bit of faith and a bit of belief in their vision for them to execute on that, and that's what we're going to do.
Brilliant stuff. It's so exciting, because I truly do know, just from being party to the conversations and all of the stuff that you've put together, the roadmaps, the plans, the people that you've spoken to, the expertise that you've consulted, I know that this is a really thoroughly thought out project. I'm just going to move across to you, Raoul, because Simon's just been talking about the dependability of Audicity and always coming through with what we say that we're going to do. And I know that the first step of that is the end of the pre-sale. So do you just want to take people through that?
Yeah, for sure. So as one of the questions of the AMA, I'm just going to answer now. When are we taking the decision on the token name, for example, the community token? That's one of the things that we're going to do before the end of the month. It's going to be, for example, a poll in Discord, where we're going to basically set up all the names that there have been in the token name chat. We're going to basically put them in different polls, and whoever wants to vote for one or for the other. I think that this initial vote, we will just do it with Discord. We don't have the platform yet to use blockchain-based voting. And also probably it will be better as the community is currently in Discord. So that will be the starting point. Once we have the token name, we're going towards towards the next step, which is basically finish the let's say finish the presale. It's the next step in this roadmap of little steps to deploy the node platform. So as I said, we first go with the token name. We'll then basically stop the presale, and how that works is basically we'll undergo a different number of little steps that go. We're going to deploy the contract for the new token with the new name. We're going to then stop the presale. We're going to then create a liquidity pool. There's a few amount of technical aspects here. I will not go into deep detail on how to do all that stuff. I will probably just write it down for all the users so they know exactly what is happening. But let's say it's a series of steps that will go probably between the 30th of August and 31st of August. And that will do that. Basically, the pre-sale will end on the 31st, probably around afternoon time, UK. And then the Node platform will be live, hopefully a few hours later, once we test everything, making sure that it all works. So yeah, 31st is the big day.
I know there have been a couple of questions about why, when there have been calls for the pre-sale to be extended a bit, why it's so important for the pre-sale to finish on the 31st.
I'm gonna take that one. It's important because it's in the white paper, and we set a date for it. And regardless of our sales, yes, we could run it for an extra month and probably do double again because we've been gaining traction. We have been a little weak on marketing. I can agree with that. It's none of our expertise, which it isn't. So it's something that we are addressing moving forward. But when we didn't address it in the pre-sale, to be quite honest, all we wanted to do was give everybody the same opportunity. So the pre-sale was in public, which is normally the closed section. And we said that it would end at the 31st of August and the Node platform would go live. We stated it in the white paper. And we intend on delivering on the date because I'm sick of teams not delivering what they say they're going to do because it doesn't suit them. So I'm not going to start like that. I'm just going to follow through with exactly what we said we were going to do, and we'll build from there.
I think that is a key thing, that we are literally enabling the pre-sale. What the whole point of this pre-sale has been in the public, sort of in a front-facing public manner, like Audicity is doing, is to be able to give individuals a chance to be part of something from the very, very inception of it. And I know that from conversations that you and I have had, that in most cases, these node platforms are traditionally launched using VC funding. And I know that you are very, very keen on avoiding that completely.
It's not just VC funding. A lot of the platforms have a very small circle of people within the crypto community that have a lot of money. And if you dig into the depths of it, then you'll tend to find the same people involved in the early stages of an awful lot of the projects that have been launched. And they sort of move from one project to the next, to the next, to the next. So they get involved, they drain it dry, they get involved, they drain it dry, they get involved, they drain it dry, they get involved, they drain it dry. And it's just been this vicious circle of the same group of people that have lots of money that can afford. The big thing is liquidity. So as much liquidity as you can put in at the start of a contract, the best. So the only vote that we are going to have, if we don't hit anywhere near the targets on the pre-sale, is the amount of tokens that you want to wrap with the amount of liquidity that we have. That will go to an open vote, because if we can launch at a slightly lower price than what we said we were going to launch at, that would be great. But if you don't want to, it's your call. But then the responsibility is more on the users of the platform, just to be a little bit more steady in the early stages as opposed to the latter stages. Because at the end of the day, the liquidity will be there and you'll be able to sell your tokens into the liquidity pool. But in the early days, if the users aren't there, then it will just drain the liquidity and you'll knock your own stuff down, which is why they've always traditionally launched in this way, where they've launched the token in secret 2 weeks prior. And it's just been steadily trending and steadily gaining a bit of action. And we don't want to do that. We don't want to do anything in secret. We don't want to do anything. We want our users to be the first people to get the token. That's also for a securities reason as well. We're not doing an ICO. We're not issuing a token. And that's a good thing from a securities point of view. They can still come down and say that it is a security, because they can say anything's security. At the moment, if you ask the SEC, an orange would be a security, but it's just it's baffling. But it's just one of these things that we don't want to do in secret. We don't want to do. It is your platform at the end of the day. We're bringing a concept to the table, and we just want to deliver what you want. So. And that's all I can say on that, really.
I think from my point of view, when I have looked at the protocols around the other node platforms, and by that I mean the user behavior as opposed to the platform behavior, is that there do seem to be the people, and maybe they are the people that you've just referred to, those select few that seem to just basically rape the money out of everything that's going, that the minute a token is launched on the market, they sell like crazy and the price disappears down the toilet because there isn't the liquidity to be able to stand that type of sell pressure. And once again, it's the little man holding the coin. So I know that it's also something that we've spoken about so much within the four of us, Simon, Raoul, Samantha, and myself, to encourage users to remember that this platform belongs to you. That's what's so keen for people to bear in mind, that it's about sensible buying and selling of tokens. It's about making sure that greed doesn't overcome everybody, and greed can work both ways. One can be selling every single token that appears in your wallet to realize the cash value of it. And the other form of greed is literally accumulating and accumulating and building and building and building because you just want so much. And I think we've spoken so often about the fact that any node platform would work so much more sinuously if people took a balanced approach to their own tokens.
Yeah, this is why we've openly stated that the founders, who have all participated the same as everybody else, they've all got the same nodes. Our public addresses, our wallet addresses will be public. So you'll see how we interact with the contract. You'll see how we manage our nodes. You'll see how we manage. And chain analysis is something that's important, and it's something that I want to teach people how to do. So if you want any help on that, by all means, just drop me a DM or just drop me a comment in one of the chats and just ask, and I'll happily spend some time teaching people how to troll through, an address. But it is important to take a balanced approach, and the whole idea behind Audicity is that you do take that balanced approach because you have to grow with the protocol. Because once we get to that halving stage, if you don't grow and you stay stagnant, then your rewards will halve. And that's not on us as a protocol, that's on you as a user. Because you've had the time, you've had the forewarning, it's not a shock, it's not a surprise. You know it's coming, which is something very different to how every other node protocol has operated. They've baited in with high emissions, and then they've just dropped them astronomically overnight without any warning or just, whatever malpractice they've done. So we do actively encourage that you monitor our wallets. We do actively encourage that you monitor how we treat the protocol and how we interact with the protocol, because we have the protocol's best intentions at heart. And if we lead by example and we show, I'm hoping people will follow.
Excellent stuff. And I'm just talking about following examples and things like that. I think it's really important that people understand that there is other forms of income apart from just the tokenization that we have in mind for people who are node holders on our platform. Is it worth talking?
Yeah, Raoul can drop that one. It's his brainchild.
Yeah, but what do you mean exactly with that? Like the tokenization?
She's on about unused funds returning to the users.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't understand the question then. Yeah, basically, there's a part at Audicity that we have explained many times in the different articles, white paper, and different videos. Basically, all the funds that are left outside the needs for Audicity as of development, as of security, and as of cost, as a company, that means that those remaining funds will be distributed back to the users. I think that's basically another lovely incentive for any kind of person that wants to interact with nodes. I think it's something that many platforms have tried with their investments, and they're basically trying to get those investments to fruition so they can do buybacks and give them back to users. But as we have seen, they haven't worked out because products are just basically, they are not built by them. They're just trying to build something, but it's out of their reach. So yeah, we're looking forward to those quarterly distributions that will go along with the quarterly reports about how everything is going as of protocols and as of products that we're developing. I think that those quarterly distributions will also balance all the users will balance the users that have most nodes and the users that have less nodes, because
I think that I think that's a key point as well.
basically the reward that any user will get from these quarterly distributions will be equal by address. So it doesn't matter if you have 40 nodes or one node, that you will receive the same amount if you have KYC'd and you have gone through the different aspects in order to receive this quarterly distribution. What does that mean? I'm just going to put an example. Let's say a user has 40 nodes. So throughout 3 months, let's say we are in the first halving. So throughout 3 months, he will pay $480 multiplied by 3. Whereas a user that has a single node, he will be paying $36 in 3 months. But they will receive both the same amount of quarterly distribution, so the same amount of airdrop. What does that mean? We're basically balancing between a person that has lots to a person that doesn't have lots. So we're literally making these level playing field in this aspect. We're incentivizing those users that are joining the project. We're incentivizing and giving back to all the people that are starting to build, starting to believe, and coming into the project. I think it's a really nice aspect that will clearly, once it happens a few times, it will clearly mark a start and an end. It's really disruptive, in my opinion.
I think it's a great thing. So the people who have got the 40 active nodes at any time will obviously be getting the token reward for that, but the distribution, the additional income from the distribution on a quarterly.
Just going to stop someone there. There's some awful feedback coming from somewhere.
I think potentially it might be Gala Girl who's just joined.
No, they've got no audio rights. So it is definitely coming from Marul's end.
Yeah, is it my river?
It's I don't know what the feedback is, but it just went all of a sudden. Everything sounds like a tumble dryer.
I think it's calmed down now.
It would just be for this first AMA. I will improve the audio recording for sure, because at the moment I'm just recording the sound of the speakers. It's pretty much awful.
Got it. So I will. I'm just going to drive home Raoul's point on this, because this is something that I've got a lot of experience in. All DeFi uses weighted voting, which means that the more you've got, the more vote you say. And if we're going to put that into real world terms, that's like giving a millionaire 10 votes in a general election, but giving somebody who earns minimum wage 1 vote. It's ridiculous. I don't understand it at all. So one person is 1 vote. So that's it. And it's the same for the distributions. So one person is 1 person. It doesn't matter what's come into the protocol, because if you've got 40 nodes and somebody's got 1 node, you have the added advantage of the rewards from 40 nodes. As in, that person's only got the rewards from 1 node. So why should they be benefited on a 40 times share of whatever's remaining? Because to me, it just doesn't work. So your rewards are the tokens from your nodes. So, but in terms of the actual company, the actual node structure and all the rest of it, you're just equal. Everyone on our platform is equal, regardless of how many they've got and how many they haven't got. And it is something that is massively important that people realize. Some people won't like this. I know some people won't like it. But it is the way it is, because I do not want a platform where somebody has more say and somebody has more of a right than somebody else. I want everyone to be equal.
I mean, I love it. You know that I love it. I love everybody having a foot, the equal amount of foot in the door. I just want to talk about something that I know might have kind of made people feel a little bit on edge, and that is the fact that the distribution, the quarterly distribution, is reliant on people being KYC'd. So can you just talk to us about that quickly, Simon?
It's very simple. we are aiming to be a bridge between DeFi and CeFi for a lot of things. One of the first things that we're going to concentrate on development from a company point of view is how to bring a decentralized verification process to DeFi, and that is going to be split into two halves. So, from a KYC provider, we will use an external KYC provider that you can KYC with. So you will receive a one-time code that you can then come to our platform and you can register that one-time code for your verification for your wallet address. So our platform will know that you have KYC'd, but it won't know who you are. And the platform that you've just KYC'd with won't know your wallet address. So you've got two completely separate entities, and they haven't got access to the information from each other. They're bound by strict regulations about that anyway in the corporate world. So whoever you KYC with, it will be a BSA fully certified KYC organization that we do use. We're looking at 2 or 3 options. It doesn't need to be finalized yet because it will take 3 to 6 months to develop this KYC process. But it is completely anonymous from a user point of view within the protocol. So it's giving people that confidence that there is a way that they can KYC within DeFi that will work for everybody.
Yeah, so I think that is absolutely key for people to understand, is that KYC does not mean in any way, shape or form that we hold or know anybody's data. To us, you are still anonymous, and to the KYC provider, you are not connected to your wallet in any way, shape or form. It is completely separate. And I think the other thing that we've discussed is the fact that there is no necessity to KYC. If people choose not to, they absolutely don't have to. All it means is that they don't get a share of the quarterly distribution.
They don't get a vote, because part of the chain analysis and part of the keeping the structure and keeping everything so it's equal and fair is that the KYC addresses can actually vote on proposals, because we know it's a real person behind it. We know it's not just somebody. We know that they're keen on how the protocol develops and how the platform develops. And we know that they're a participant as opposed to somebody else. That's another thing that we need to touch on quickly, is chain analysis, which we will be bringing to the platform. Cross-chain addresses and people manipulating and people abusing, and we're not going to catch everybody at the start because chain analysis relies very heavily on endpoints. So you can still have one person that's got multiple wallets that never interact on endpoints. So it's not a perfect solution at the moment. Generally speaking, at some point these paths cross. So it's a rare thing that they don't cross if they are doing it, but we will do our absolute best to minimize abuse of the platform, which is, what we've said from the start. And we need to do that across all of our platforms as well, because I don't like these founders that say that they don't have a responsibility, and because it's a cop-out. We have a responsibility to our users, regardless of whether it's a DeFi product or a CeFi product or whatever. You're still users of the platform, and you trust us, and we should deliver trust to you too.
Brilliantly put. So I think I'm just having a look at there are a few AMA questions on the Discord. I think we've answered some of them. One of them is Charlie Blue. Hey fam, watched the video and maybe I missed it, but what are the tokenomics for our coins outside of the nodes? Will there be a buyback burn mechanism? And are the tokens the nodes create only available for the market?
That's been covered. So that is everything that we build will return the tokens to the market.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant stuff. And I know we've also touched on C. Stewart's question of when will the vote to name the token take place, and it's going to happen.
Yeah, that's going to be
during the rest of August, effectively.
Yeah, I'd say probably the 29th of August would be. Well, I think probably we'll start it on the 28th and we'll end it on like the 29th, just to go as a day to put everything in the contract, and so
something like that.
Yeah.
So start thinking, people, if you want to have an input into the name.
Can I just very quickly touch on my proposal for what I'm going to propose for a name? I know there's been a couple of things about using it because of similar names, but we can use a different tag. I'm going to propose the name Radix for our token, because I don't want it to sound anything like Audicity. because I don't know why they follow. But to me, radix has got quite a lot of meanings which are very core to us. For the Latin speakers amongst us, radix literally means root, and we're starting from the roots. We're a ground, we're a ground root movement. But root access is something that is heavily in the security world, and to have strong roots means to have incredible foundations and great community. And so that's my proposal for the token. The actual ticker for the token, I want to be RADX. But that's just me. Somebody will probably go and spin it up now so we can't use it, but hey, who cares?
Well, of course, you know that I like Quai, which is Latin for belonging, because this is such a community-driven project, and I think a QY would be quite a cute.
Yeah, exactly. So there's loads of things. So we can put proposals up, which we will do. And if you've got proposals, please pop them into the chat and just say, this is a cool name, and we can take a look at it and we can take it from there.
And I think people should start doing that now.
Yeah,
for any votes are taking place, so that we can think and we can look and we can chat, because people will have some absolutely brilliant ideas.
Of course.
There is just one question from It's Mokum, who I know has joined us. Thank you for doing that. Which is, when we launch, is the fee of the 12 USDC included in the pre-sale price, or do we need to pay for all the nodes when the platform goes live? Simon.
Yeah, I will answer that. It's a quick answer. Basically, yes, it will be included. So you will have 30 days of, let's say, included fee in all new nodes that are created, whether they are on the pre-sale or whether they are after the pre-sale when the node platform is ready. There will be a 30-day grace period where you basically don't have to pay anything extra. The way we have structured the fees is that you have up to 90 days to pay your fees. The moment you go into the red, let's say there's two sides, the red side and the green side. You can be up to 90 days on the green side. That means that you can pay your fees in advance, but at the same time, you can leave your fees without being paid for up to 90 days. The issue of leaving your fees without paying is that you will not be able to claim rewards. So unless you pay your fees, you will not be able to claim rewards. That being said, you can leave your fees without paying for, I don't know, let's put example, a few months. And let's say you had an emergency and you're not able to pay your fees, then whenever you get those fees paid back, you're able to claim those rewards that haven't been claimed for 2 months. So you're not losing any rewards in case you don't pay any fees, unless you get up to 90 days. If the node gets up to 90 days without paying fees, the node gets completely scrubbed. It gets removed from your account. Okay, so yeah, I think that's everything regarding fees.
So effectively, people have got a 6-month elasticity around fee payment, 3 months in advance or 3 months in arrears.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that the fees are paid in 30 days periods. So if you have, I don't know, let's put an example. If you have 15 days on the green side, you can only pay 2 months in advance, because you can only pay in 30, let's say in chunks of 30 days. So yeah, just in case you have up to 90 days, that means that you basically timed it perfectly to have 90 days in advance. And yes, you can avoid paying fees for like 5 months, but then you have to pay your pending fees. So yeah, our recommendation is just to have your nodes always on the green side, and always be claiming in case anything happens.
Excellent stuff. I know that we've got a few people in the room. Is there anybody who has got any questions that would like to raise their hands, and we can open the microphones to you?
Or you can write them down, whatever.
Or you can write them down.
Yeah. Hands up, baby, hands up. Baby, your heart, give me.
Yeah, this is why we get Simon to stick to his day job.
All right.
I think we covered mostly everything. We will whenever we finish, we'll record this to YouTube. We will push that to YouTube as well. So if anyone needs to listen to it, they will be able to, given that the timings everywhere are crazy. so yeah, if there are no questions, that's pretty much it.
Just so you all know, I recorded an amazing Ripple video earlier on, and there was no audio on it.
He did. I listened. I thought it was great, and I'm the only person who got the privilege of listening to it. So I think you're planning on doing that again tomorrow, aren't you, Simon?
No, I'm planning on doing that again tonight.
Good man. We need to get that soon.
So she's just asking. C. Stewart is asking, can we set up automatic fee setup for payments? There isn't a way to do it that in smart contracts. I mean, there could be a way that if it was included in the claim, you could possibly opt in to do, but it's, to me, it's not.
I mean, you could do it, but you need to be literally really technically
Yeah.
You need to write a script that basically interacts with the contract and all that.
But just so you know, there's a lot of vulnerabilities in those sort of scripts. They are very public facing, which is if we're going to take an option of sort of usability over security, I'm always going to pick security.
I mean, in the end, just to explain a little bit, in the end, smart contracts are public and anyone can interact with them. So when a smart contract goes public and it's literally on the blockchain, the only thing that a dApp does, so I'm just putting an example of Uniswap or putting an example of, I don't know, another tool, I don't know, OpenSea, imagine even OpenSea. All what the front ends do, all the dApps do, it just give access to the smart contracts. You can literally interact with them with scripts, so literally with code. But the let's say that the UI and all the pretty looking websites are just making an easier way for you to interact with all these smart contracts. So yeah, eventually someone could just set up a script by themselves, or maybe someone could set up a script and make it public. But it would not be something that we would recommend. We would recommend at always just interact with the platform that we developed, that it would have security on it and would make sure that all interactions are safe.
When we talk about great UXs and great UIs and great user experiences, these things tend to be very simple. And that's for two reasons. A, they're very easy to use, which is fantastic. But the big thing about them is that the more complex that you write code and the more complex you make your platform and the more complex you make your scripts, is the more points of vulnerability that these things have. And we know from past experience that it's a heavily targeted space. So if you make them very simple and very basic and, okay, it can do this and it can do this and it can do this and it can do this, but it can't do this. And that's the way that I think we'll move forward with it anyway, always. So when it comes to the products that we build.
Mm-hmm. I know that both of you, Simon and Raoul, have got a thing about making the user experience as easy as possible, but also as safe and secure as possible. And I also know that you are both more than happy to help anybody with any guidance or any help or any advice in navigating their way through Audicity and anything that they need to do with it. And I'm sure either of you would record videos on anything that needs to be done. I know you, Raoul, have put together a whole load of YouTube videos on how to go about buying the nodes in the first place, and you've done those in both English and Spanish.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think it's something that is really needed. There's many users that have only interacted with exchanges and with maybe just one exchange, which is fine. I mean, blockchain and crypto is not easy. I think exchanges make it really easy. Well, it's hard enough in exchanges, let's say, but inside their platforms, let's say it's kind of easy. Whenever you get into interacting directly with the blockchain, with personal wallets, interacting with DEXs, cross chains, and all that stuff, I think it really gets complicated because most of the people don't understand the logic behind all that, and because you're not understanding what is happening, you are basically vulnerable to any kind of web page or link or mint or connecting your wallet on the wrong side or anything like that. So my idea with the videos is not only make it easier for users to interact with Audicity, but also so they can learn and they can have a guide, a reference on any kind of course, any kind of example that I've done. Of course, I'm not covering the whole the whole the whole thing, the whole amount of things that you can do in the blockchain space, but at least I'm covering all related to Audicity and at least how you get there or with what tools can you interact with in order to get there. There's still missing videos, which I hope to get them soon. But yeah, hopefully once the node platform is ready, I'll be able to record all of those. So there will be a full suite of videos from exchanges to our platform and from our platform to, I don't know, to even to your bank in any case. We'll see.
Well, I know that
Raul loves making videos. He loves it.
I do love it. I do love it. And I love to, that's why I'm making them in Spanish as well. I would love to bring bring Audicity to the Spanish community as well, because I think most, if not all of the communities, unless they're really big NFT communities or something that they managed to get lots of traction in the early days when NFTs were huge or whatever, somehow they got all that reach. I think that there are language communities that get maybe a little set aside because English is normally the biggest language in all this ecosystem. So yeah, I think just trying to bridge a little content to Spanish and eventually trying to make more content and maybe giving more access to those users will not only benefit the protocol itself, also the community, and in general, it will give more broader aspect to Audicity for sure.
I think it's great, but I know that both of you are available on Twitter and on Discord to help people with any questions and guidance that they might need. I know both of you are very, very keen and happy to reach out and help people as they need it.
Of course. I'm just going to welcome Sam to the room. She is listening. She does apologise. She could not join us today. She was in meetings and calls and all the rest of it. So welcome, Sam. I know you're listening. You know, more for you for not being here, but no.
We love you, Samantha.
We got everything done as of this NMA, so hopefully we'll do another one next week so we can explain a little bit more about all the process and everything, right?
Excellent stuff. Well, thank you both, Simon and Raul, for your information, and thank you to everybody who's joined us in person and for everybody who's listening to the recording. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we look forward to speaking to all of you again.